I don't know what happened. I mean, this horse was apparently born this way from the UK, beautiful warm blood, but had a very aggressive temperament. Like, when I mean aggressive, he would physically chuck people out of his stable. He's huge. He's like almost 17 hands. Beautiful horse, but if he wanted to hurt you, he would, and he has every right to. But he was born with this indentation in his rib cage on the left. So imagine exactly where the saddle sits. That is exactly where this injury happened. Now, who knows what happened? Maybe his mum stood on him when he was born as a foal. Maybe it was the way he was laid in his mum that, you know, the legs must have been, I don't know, no one knows, but he's always had it. And whenever I hear horses that are like aggressive, behavioral, temperamental, my brain is straight away pain, because by nature, horses are the kindest creatures on the planet. I believe that with every cell in my body. And if they are showing signs of aggression, don't get me wrong, they are kind, but they are extremely dangerous because they are an animal. They are unpredictable, and if we think that horses are not dangerous, then we're fooling ourselves. But I don't think they are purposely nasty to human beings, and if they are, it's for good reason. Now, with that aside, this is the second time I've been asked to look at this beautiful warm blood. Now, he's a dressage horse, bred to do dressage. So straight away in my brain, I'm going category of dressage. That requires stability, postural control, right? Two key factors, stability and postural control. Why am I saying that? Because if I was looking at the same type of horse, but he was required for racing, totally different. He is required for speed, elastic, energy, recoil, right? It's a totally different system, structure, need compared to a horse that's doing dressage. This is really the fundamentals of ensuring that you're doing the correct treatment and you have clinical reasoning for what you're doing, is understanding what the discipline is, what the structure of the horse is, and do those two collide? Because they do, right? Sometimes I see some big draft type horses that are built for load distributing, force, pressure, pulling, doing dressage, doing flying changes, which is incredible, and it shows you how adaptable horses are, but it doesn't mean that it's functionally easy for them. You're going to have capacity limits that you can work around with very careful observation training and careful progressive overload. Back to the story. So this horse has been doing novice now for this season and is now going to have a quiet season before moving up the levels. Now, he has every potential going, fantastic breeding, but there's two things that I am concerned about as a body worker and a general horse lover. Number one is we cannot ignore the elephant in the room, which is this rib issue. So this rib issue has to be causing some form of physical restriction, because let's face it, with our hands, eyes, subject assessment, we can only see and feel so much. The best way to know is to go in, is to do, not cut him open, I mean like ultrasounding, x-raying, understanding what has happened. There is an indentation in his rib cage which is like the size of my whole hand fist. So how can it not be? So from a rider perspective, when I see him under saddle, the rider has always said that he's struggled with engaging that left hind, the same side as the rib cage on the left. Don't get me wrong, he looks correct in the limbs coming forward, but there's no difference in like tracking up or anything like that. The pelvic rotation, which I first treated when I first met him, is stable, so he is improving. But here's the thing, and here's the key question, which, as I said, I've got two concerns, is one is the rib cage, how much and what is happening underneath the skin that we can't see. But the second concern is his height and his age. So horses don't fully mature through their spine till the age of 8, sometimes 10 years old, depending on the breed. So this horse is only 7. He's big already, right? He's 17 hands. He's already got a weakness in his axial skeleton. So we have to factor in time, allowing him time. Now, luckily, these people that own him are so patient and they're all in it for the horse, which is why, despite his temperament and danger to basically having to remanage the yard so that specific people could work with him, they've done it. And the patience has played off. The guy that now rides him absolutely loves him and gives him cuddles and kisses. You know when you just see two like a horse and a rider that just gel? Like, this is this guy. He's the Spanish guy, and when he talks to him, it's like that classic Spanish, like, no, like, that's my Spanish accent, but you get it, right? They're just so, they have a bond, and it's so nice to see them, because he only trusts this rider, which I understand. So during the treatment, I'm like doing what I'm doing, but I'm watching their interaction, and he's just like giving him like kisses on his muzzle, like, and the horse is just like, yeah, I love you, which is so nice to see. Let me explain my concern with this rib. So I've drawn some pictures for you. Yes, I'm a geek, and when I have spare time, I like to draw horses. So core engagement, hind limb engagement, they are all as one, okay? But there's one area of the body that no matter how good your core or your hind limb engagement is, if you don't have this area of the body A-okay, you're going to hit a problem. And that is the forehand, the shoulder girdle. So if the front legs can't push and have the strength to lift off the ground, the core, the hind leg has got nowhere to go underneath. So here you go. You like my drawings? So these are the core muscles. We've got the serratus ventralis split into the cervical, the thoracic. We then have the pectoral girdle. We've got the multifidus, core stabilizing muscle. We've got the iliopsoas group, massive involvement in hind limb flexion, core engagement, anything to do with pelvic girdle engagement. And then we have the rectus abdominals here, so core muscles, right? Now, this horse here, see this area here, it's all white. This is basically like where his issue is. Now, if you imagine, I think I've got another picture for you. Here, like, look where the saddle is, right? And that area there is exactly where his injury is. Now, if we want to bring this leg forward, you can see why he's going to have impingement and some form of issue going on, which has a knock-on effect on all of these muscles recruiting, right? Because they're all attachment points here over or to the rib cage. And that's going to affect his spinal congruity, so basically how he uses his spine to flex and extend, which is going to have a knock-on effect on the forehand. So you can see how this is an entire system problem. So what do we do? My suggestion is, because it's quiet season now, and he's had a really good season at novice, but he needs to now progress, depending on his growth over the summer, to more lateral work, moving up the levels, elementary, medium, etc. But the biggest requirement is the stability of the spine. And in a long, big horse, I remember what I said in the beginning of this, stability, postural structure support for dressage is fundamental for the discipline. And this horse is weak there and lacking there. So I'm going to go back to the vet. We're going to look at the rib cage on the left, really understand what's going on underneath what we can only feel and see, and then come up with a support plan over the summer to maybe do some aggressive treatment. He loves the laser. He loves the trigger point laser therapy I do, which is for me a key sign of pain relief. Like when I'm doing the treatment, his eyes are like closing, he's falling asleep, head nodding, and I can't ignore that. For me as a body worker, like, I'm not a vet, but that is a clear sign that the horse really wants more treatment. So once we know what's going on underneath there, we can come up with a plan. And it's never about symmetry. I'm not saying that my goal is to get rid of that hole, but the understanding is once we know what the function, we can support the horse as best we can, given, what did I say in the beginning? The structure of the horse, the structure of the rider, how those two intermingle, and then the demands of this discipline. And if this horse, which he has every talent to be a really super horse at the advanced levels, we have to ensure that the foundation is correct. And as the level goes up, the collection and demand is expected and higher than novice and prelim. And it's good to have these honest conversations now before pushing things through. And the worst thing that can happen is this horse reverting back to any signs of aggression, which would be for me a key sign of being pushed too much or being in pain. That's it. Any questions you have, just comment below, and don't forget to give me a subscribe and a like.